Hi everyone, we are live. I'm just waiting for everyone to come in and then we can start right on past. Oh, sorry, right on 10 past. Okay, right, so we'll make a start. So hi there, my name's Louise, for those that don't know me. So the session today is going to be a beginners or level 1 session. Just take it nice and easy. Don't feel that you have to do more than what you're already doing. As long as you breathe through it and you find it comfortable. And a nice healthy challenge is always good, but don't beat yourselves up. The practice isn't suitable for pregnancy, so there is parts of it where we are resting on your belly. So you're best kind of finding a class which is more suited to pregnancy yoga. Okay. Right then, saying that, we'll make a start. So grab what you can. If you don't have blocks, then grab yourself some firm books or not firm books, some books or some firm cushions, and that'll really help because you may need those. So if you have all your gear, if you've got your mat, you need a belt as well. If you don't have a yoga belt, then grab yourself a dressing gown cord. And then we're ready to, a blanket maybe, and then we're ready to go. So I'm going to get you first of all just to come down to sitting. So a nice easy cross-legged. So just with either the shins crossing or the ankles crossing. And just make it so that your knees are dipped slightly lower than the hips. Or they can be the same height, but slightly lower is even better. So I'm just right on the very edges of the block. So my backs of my thighs aren't actually touching the blocks. And this just helps to lift the spine. So just to extend, it just takes that pressure off just on your back. So now that we're all settled and we're ready, I'm just going to get you now just to kind of have a little bit of a wriggle out so you feel a little bit more connected down towards the block and down towards the ground. And keep your hands just onto your knees. Close your eyes. And just taking the awareness inside. Maybe the first time that you've actually sat down today. And just to be able to check in, just to see how you actually feel. And just recognize just anything that you have just going on. So if there's any little niggles, any little issues that you have, any health issues, then obviously don't do anything which causes you any pain. You maybe need to back off or just step out of a posture. Doesn't matter if you miss one or two out. When we have that attention just on how our body feels, and then just pay attention to your breathing. Soft, smooth. Keeping a nice flow to the breath. Just noticing the length on the breath. And ideally, if we can keep the breathing all just in and out through the nose. So keeping the mouth closed unless you're told to do something else. And then bringing the palms together. So just gently place the hands together as if you've got a little butterfly, something just in between your hands. And take a few deep breaths, and with each exhalation, just allowing the shoulders just to come down. And from this quiet place that we've created, the space inside, time now just to set your intention. So even making that your intention, just maybe focusing just on you for the time that we're here. or even just having your intention just to bring awareness to your breath. Once we have that intention, bring the thumbs up then to the space just between the eyes, just to reaffirm. And taking the hands up over the crown. So your intention is then out there. And then draw the hands back down again towards the Anahata chakra, the heart center. And then releasing the hands down to the knees. And softly just flutter the eyelids open. Okay. So if we come forward now, we're just going to start to come over onto our hands and knees. Now, if you have got blocks, you can just place them either side of your mat, and then they're there ready for you. Now, we're going to take the big toes together just to begin with, and we're going to take the knees out a little bit wider than the hips. Hands are just going down onto the floor. Now, making sure that you're not just driving down through the heel of your hand. Use the whole of the hand. Start to extend the hands away as you're looking forward, keeping the bottom fixed right back towards the heels. And then placing the forehead down and see if the nose can come down as well. A nice long stretch with the arms, and again making sure you feel as if every finger, every knuckle is pressing down. So we're not just pressing down with the heel of the hand. Roll the tops of the shoulders back so we feel the space just from shoulder to shoulder. So a few deep breaths and fully commit to that breath. And then after your next exhalation, I'm just going to start now just to use the stomach muscles and just to draw yourself back up to sitting back onto the heels. Bring your knees in closer together, sit back just for a moment. Take the hands forward, clasp the hands, turn the hands over and pushing the hands away. Taking the arms up over the head as you inhale. And then exhale as you bring the arms back down. Undo the hands, take the hands back behind you, keep the elbows bent. Draw the shoulders back first and then drawing the hands down, squeezing the shoulder blades together and pulling those shoulder blades down towards your waist. So if you haven't got the feeling of the shoulder blades together, bend the elbows, squeeze those shoulder blades together, then taking the arms down. And release. So we're going to come over just onto the hands and knees, making sure that we have our knees underneath the hips and the wrists underneath the shoulders. So a nice simple cat stretch just to begin with. So if we draw back right through the smaller part of the back and lift it up towards the ceiling. And then slowly just allowing it to come back down. So really kind of dipping into the back, sticking the bottom out, sinking in between the shoulder blades. And again, pulling back, draw back on the lower part of the belly, lifting the small of the back up towards the ceiling, then up between the shoulder blades. So tailbone tucks under, head tucking in. And then releasing, coming back the other way. So the bottom sticks out and the chest moves forward as the head lifts. So twinning that with the breath. So we start to exhale as we draw up. And then we're inhaling. As the spine comes down, chest is moving forward but lifting and the head lifts up. And then again, once more, so we draw up. So we're pulling right from the small of the back first, then up between the shoulder blades. And then slowly start just to dip down. Chest is moving forward and the head is lifting. And then coming just into a neutral spine. Keep the knees where they are this time. Keep the feet where they are. Sit the bottom back towards the heels again. Take the arms a good stretch forward. Again, the forehead comes down. See if we can bring the nose down. Keep the arms stretching forward. After your next exhalation, bring yourself back up again onto your hands and knees. So hands need to stay where they were. So when we have the bottom back and the arms are stretching forward, that's the correct distance then for Ardha Mukha Svanasana. So toes are tucking under, and we work to stretch back a little bit. We're just going to kind of dip in a little bit in the top part of the back. Push back through the legs and aim to straighten the legs out a little bit if we can. And we're easing back. So the hips want to feel as if they're lifting up and back. We're drawing back through the belly. Now, if your heels are down to the floor, don't worry too much about it. If the legs are really tight, just pedal out with the feet. So just pedaling them just allows the hamstrings and the legs just to loosen off a little bit. So we can maybe just try coming right up onto the toes and lifting the hips up and back, and then taking those heels back a little bit more. So just let the head dangle. Now I want to be careful that we're not just dipping right into the back. So really feel as if you're pulling up and back. Nice and strong in the arms. So you'll feel this stretch going right along through the side of the body. Okay, so come right up onto the toes. Hips up nice and high. And again, just go back. Now right up onto the toes again. And we're just going to bring our left foot forward. It's going to come to the outside of that hand. Now from there, we're just going to start to spin that back foot round a little bit. And we're going to turn the hand, bringing the hands out a little bit more. So we come into more of a lunge dog. Now on this one, when we come round 45-degree angle, we'll feel a long stretch coming through the side of the body, but it'll really start to work into the hips. So stretching the arms forward, you really start to feel it. So the strength out through the back leg and into that, an external rotation of this front leg. So holding there just a few breaths. So the hands have moved around about a 45-degree angle and stretching away. Now we can start just to bring the hand in a little bit, but leave your right hand where it is. We're going to spin on that back foot, place the knee down, and we're taking our left hand onto the left leg, and we turn and we twist. So we're pushing away from that right hand, turning and looking back. So taking a few breaths. And then we'll look back down, place the hands down on where the hands were originally, strong in that back leg, front leg back. So we're back into our dog pose again, into Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Okay, so from here we're going to bring our right leg forward. And we can just place that back foot down. We start to walk it round, so we're coming out at a 45-degree angle. So we have a long stretch of the back leg, the front leg gets a rotation, and the arms stretch away. Take a breath or two. So we feel that stretch here as well as working right into this right leg. Now we can just bring our left hand in a little bit. We turn, pivot on that back foot, knee goes down, hand goes onto the leg as we turn and we twist. So we get a deep lunge with the twist. And then we bring it back in. So our hands go back down, straighten out through the back leg, front leg back to join it. So we're back into Ardha Mukha Svanasana. So holding there, just a few more breaths. Keep the hips lifting. Keep the chest heading back towards the legs. Good, now come right up onto the ball of the foot and bringing the knees down. So again, we can sit back down, head going down, arms going forward. Take a couple of breaths and fully commit to that breath. Fully commit. So picking up on the beginning of the inhalation, watch it right through to the end. Pick up on the beginning of the exhalation, right through to that exhalation. Really enjoy the breath. And when the exhalation finishes, you can either maybe a slight pause before the inhalation starts again. Okay, so after the exhalation, we come back up. We're going to tuck the toes again and we're going to lift back up into Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Okay, so from here, we're going to just lift up with your right leg. Bring it forward and just placing it so the foot comes just behind your left hand. Just maybe about 8 inches or so back. Now once it's gone there, we'll start to rotate that leg out again. Then we can bring the ankle bone just on top of the knee and edge back. Now you can always try just bending the knees a little bit, but push back. If not, if here is fine, then just hold it here. So those that can, you bend the knee a little bit and take the chest back even more. And then straighten out the leg and placing that foot down. So now with the left leg, so we're going to bring it forward, so it just touches down. Just gets the leg externally rotated, and then we bring the ankle just above the knee. We can edge back, or if it feels okay, we keep the chest heading back, but we bend the knee. So we start to take the legs and the hips through those full range of movements. So extension, flexion, external, internal rotation. And then straighten out and placing that foot down. And then come up onto the ball of the foot and bring the knees down. So again, just sit back, bring the hands back this time, just with the head down. So taking a few breaths. Now we're going to take our hands forward, so we're going to start to come up to standing. So we're going to work that through the dog pose again. So if you're not wanting to do that, if you've had enough, just make your way up to the front edge of your mat. Otherwise, we come up, toes tuck, we lift up. And then we can start to walk the feet forward. So head is down, we can hold the backs of the legs, get those elbows in and squeezing down. Now remember, if the back is sore, you can just bend the knees as much as you need to. If you are able to straighten the legs, get the body hanging down onto the legs. And then we bend the knees, a good deep bend. Fingers come to the floor, we look forward, we press down through the feet, work it through the thighs as we bring ourselves up and roll shoulders back. Now taking the feet out just a little distance apart, about 2 fists in between your feet. So from there, we're going to take the hands back behind, interlocking the fingers, and again, roll the shoulders back first, and then start to take the arms down. Now from there, we start again to bend the knees. So we're going to slowly start to come forward. We're going to rest the body down onto the legs. Once it's down, we've got a clasp hold of the hands. We tip forward and we bring the arms up over the head. Remember, if it's too much for your back, if it feels too much, then just bend your knees. Keep it comfortable. So it should be a little bit of a challenge, but a sweet challenge. And then again, just start to bend the legs, bring the hands down, separate the hands. We can take the arms forward and slowly start to come up. And bring the hands into the Anjali Mudra. So hands come into prayer position just at the Anahata chakra. Okay, bring the hands all the way down to the floor. Bend your knees as much as you need to get the hands down. We're going to take our left leg, big stride back. Now when it's there, we're going to bring that knee down. We can keep the toes tucked on that leg, taking it into a nice deep lunge on that front leg. Now from there, pulling up away from that front leg. So we're lifting up, nice and strong in the back leg, drawing up through that back leg. Again, roll the shoulders back and then clasping the hands. If you can this time, change that crossover of your hands, so not the more dominant side. Again, shoulders go back, then the arms come down. Just enough to be able to draw those shoulder blades down. Squeezing on the belly, pull the arms enough so you'll feel the shoulder blades start to tip back. Bring the chest forward even more as you're pulling back and then looking up towards the ceiling. And then bring it back up again. Placing the hands down onto the floor. We straighten out through that back leg and then we step it in. Again, you're into your forward bend. We bend the knees, taking the arms up. So we come up through Utkatasana. And again, the hands come back into the Anjali Mudra with the hands doing Namaste. Okay, so ready for the other side. So just bringing the hands down to the floor. Right leg this time, nice big stride back. So placing that knee down, toes are staying tucked under on that back leg. So we start to bring it up. Can roll the shoulders back, again taking the arms back. So when we take the shoulders back first, squeezing the shoulder blades together, then we can start to draw the arms down, squeeze in and up on the belly. Now the more that we pull down with the arms, it'll roll the shoulders back, it'll take it into a little bit of a back bend in the top part of the back. You'll feel it start to tip back. Still keep pulling up, lifting up towards the ceiling, draw the arms back, the head back, looking along the ceiling. And then again, release the hands, bringing the hands down to the floor, straighten out in that back leg, we step it forward. Hang into your forward bend, then bend your knees, again, arms are lifting. So we're coming up through Utkatasana. And then bringing the hands back in, Anjali Mudra. Okay, take a breath. Okay, so we're just going to bring it down. We're going to come down, lying down on your front. So take the hands down to the floor, step the legs back. So we're going back through a plank. Now, when we come down into Chaturanga, you can either come down with the knees down and lower yourself all the way down. If you're feeling on a little bit of a challenge, elbows bend back, and we slowly start to come down. So you're resting right down onto the floor. Forehead is down, and the hands just down by your sides. So get your setup first. Push your pubic bone in towards the floor. Stretch one leg back, then stretch the other leg back. Now lift the head up a little bit. Place the hands just by chest height. Push in just a little bit, just to lift yourself away from the floor and stretch forward, and then place yourself back down again. Now the hands are going to just rest behind you. Again, interlock the fingers. So just like you did in your lunge, hands are clasped. Now we're taking the shoulders back, squeezing the shoulder blades together. We're drawing the belly back and we're pushing the tops of the feet down into the floor. They're going to stay down. Now when we've squeezed the shoulder blades together, we start to draw the arms back and it'll start to lift us up a little bit. Again, rolling those shoulder blades back. We can take a little look forward. So it starts to take us into a little bit of a back bend, but it's also a really good back strengthener is this one. So keep the pubic bone pressing down, keep the legs pressing down, and then releasing down. So head comes down, let the arms release. So we can just have a little wriggle out from side to side. And then just being straight, just hold there for a moment. Just focus just on the breath. If you need to, just turn your head to one side. Okay, so after your next exhalation, bring the hands back in again. So your chest height, we're going to tuck the toes under. Now we either come up the way that we went down, or you can, so you can come to your knees if you need to. If you can come up through chaturanga, say nice and strong, pushing the legs back, let the knees leave the floor, and then pushing down with the arms, we come up, we push back, all the way back up into Ardha Mukha Svanasana again. So take a few breaths. And then slowly start to walk the feet back in. Hang into your forward bend. Then again, bend your knees, taking the arms forward and slowly start to rise up through those arms and then draw the hands back in again into the Anjali Mudra. Okay. So, Vrksasana, tree pose. So if you know that balance is going to be a little bit of an issue, then grab yourself a wall Take yourself to the wall or grab yourself a chair. Okay, so now you can stand with the wall on one side, you can stand with it back behind you and just make it so it's near enough so it's not going to mess up the rest of your pose. It's not going to give you something else to worry about. So you may prefer to do it if your hand is on one side. Now, if you've got the wall on one side, it's going to be the leg furthest away from the wall that you're working on. So we're going to press down through that left leg and we're going to start to raise up with the right, turning the leg out to the side. Grab hold and then placing the foot so the foot comes into the leg. So now ideally if we can get the foot to push into the leg pushes into the foot. So the two work together and we can bring the hands together. You can try taking the arms up over the head. And then bring them back down again. And release the leg. Good. Okay, so onto the other side. So nice and strong first of all with the legs. Feel as if the hips are nicely packed, sucking in. And then we can start to release on that left leg. We can start to bring that leg up. So we have the foot pushing into the leg pushing into the foot. As soon as we're there, we'll bring the hands together. So the two work together. If you're wobbling, don't worry about it. Trees move. Taking the arms up over the head. And bring the hands back in. And back down before we fall down. Okay. Okay, so roll the shoulders back. Now I'm going to take the legs out a good distance apart. So challenge yourself a little bit on this. Go a little bit wider than you would do normally. We're taking the arms out to the sides. And we're going through Virabhadrasana 2. So we're going to turn in with our left foot. We're turning out with our right leg. So the whole of that leg is turned. So you've worked well already preparing, turning the legs out with those external rotations we've been doing. So we're going to start just to push into the left foot and start to bend that right knee. So remember, no pressure going on that knee. And we keep the shoulders lined up over the hips. So holding there, and then we turn. We just look beyond that middle finger. So we keep the tailbone tucking under, keep the bum nicely tucked in, legs nice and strong, arms reaching out to the sides. Keep your tension on the breathing. Okay, and then bring it back up. We're going to go into Trikonasana. So we're going to start just to stretch over, as far over as we can, bringing that hand down. Now, we're going to change it this time. So this top hand is going to reach by your ear, and you're going to lift your elbow up towards the ceiling. Keep pushing back into the left leg, and then take that right arm, or even the left arm, over the head. Good, and then bring it all the way back up again. We're going to turn that foot in, refresh your arms, and then turning ready for the other side. So we have our right foot turned in, left leg turned out. Keep the hips and chest facing towards me. Slowly start to bend the knee. So Virabhadrasana 2 to begin with. So knee staying directly on top of the ankle bone. And then we turn, look beyond that middle finger. Then slowly start to bring it back up. Legs are straight. And then again into Trikonasana. So we exhale as we reach over. We're bringing the hand down. And that top arm, we're going to take, so it's going, holding on to the back of the ear. And then we can reach it over the head. So traditionally, the arm is straight up. We're just working on a variation. And then bring it back up. Turning the foot back in. Okay, and just heel toe the feet back in. And roll the shoulders back so we're back into Tadasana. Okay, so if you have got some blocks or if you've got a stack of books, place them so they're either side on your mat. Again, you're going to take the legs out nice and wide. So going into Parsvakonasana. So from nice wide legs, nice and open in the hips, we go back through Virabhadrasana 2. So arms are out to the sides. We turn in with the left foot, we turn out with the right leg. We start to bend the knee so we get a good deep bend. Now from here, we're going to start just to lengthen over. So we exhale, we lengthen over, we're bringing the hand down onto the blocks. So fingers reaching onto the blocks. Hand again coming around near the back of the ear. And then we can start to tip as it reaches over the head. So one long line of energy moving from that back foot right through to the fingertips. So we turn, we look up towards that top hand. Now ideally there's no weight really pushing onto that onto the lower hand. If you feel it's a bit much, bring the arm up and rest it just onto the leg. And then we come back up, all the way back up. Turning in and back to where we started. Just refresh the arm so we can go onto the other side. So we're going to turn in, right foot, turning out with the left leg. Keep that lift in the body and then slowly start to bend the knee. So good deep bend. Okay, from here, we exhale, we extend over, we bring the hand down onto the blocks. So the leg can push back against the arm. Now this top hand is coming back around the ear. We can start to lift that up and then stretching the arm. So one long line of energy moving from the back foot through to the fingertips. Hold for a few breaths. Now notice whether you're working too hard, just soften it out a little bit. After your next exhalation, bring it back up and then all the way up. Turn the feet back in and just rest the hands down for a moment. Well done. It's a tough pose just to keep hold of. So just keep tuning back in. Make sure that you're working with the breath and watch the breath. The breath will be an indication to how the body feels. If you're working too hard, then the breath, you'll feel it in the breath. So just soften it out a little bit. Okay, so we're going to work that with a twist now. So we're going to go back in again into Virabhadrasana 2. So the foot turns in, leg turns out, arms out to the side, and we bend the knee. So we're going to change from Virabhadrasana 2 into a twist and then into Virabhadrasana 1. So we're going to start to turn the arms facing towards that bent leg. And then we bring it across even more. So one hand goes onto the knee, the other hand will go back round. Just take the arm back as far around as you can. Now you're working just to turn the torso even more, kind of facing it to back behind you. Now obviously it's not going to get all the way round, but then look forward towards that bent leg. Raise your arms up, keep the chest facing that way, and we can look up towards the ceiling. And we're in Virabhadrasana 1. So nice and strong with it. Keep pushing into that back leg. And to come out of it, just turn back round to Virabhadrasana 2 again. And then come all the way up. Turn the foot back in and rest the hands down. A strong pose. Well done. So we'll do the same again on the other side. So we're going to take the arms out to the side. We turn in with the right foot. We turn out with that left leg. Now we're going to start to rotate the arms. So we're turning. Oh, sorry, we're not. We're going to start to bend the knee first. Sorry about that. So we're bending the knee. Then we can start to turn. So once we've turned, then we can start to go round that little bit further. We bring the hands round. So we start to get that twist across the belly, across the waist, across the torso. And once we feel that we have that, we look forward towards the bent leg and we take the arms up. Keep the focus just on the breathing. And then we can bring it back round and straighten out with the leg. Turn the feet back in, bringing the hands in. So just taking a breath. Okay, so turn the toes in ever so slightly. Push the hands down. So you're on that rim of your pelvis. Feel that hard bony bit. Get the hands onto there and push down. Lift the chest. Roll the shoulders back. Then placing the fingers there. We're pulling with the fingers, pushing in with the thumb just to help tip us forward. So only go as far as feels comfortable to go. Now, if you can bring the hands down to the floor easily, then bring in the fingertips down. If you need to bend the knees, then bend the knees. Okay, so slowly start just to come down as far down as feels comfortable to go. And then we're just going to keep the body tipping over, but lifting up in the top part of the body. So bringing your chest forward, like you did right in the beginning with that cat stretch. So bringing the chest forward and we're looking up. And then slowly back down again. And then once more. So we lift the chest, we bring that forward, we lift the head, we're looking forward. Keep working nice and strong into the legs. And then back down. Hands come onto the hips. We press in, we lift the chest, we come all the way back up. And we can just heel toe the feet back in. So roll the shoulders back, drawing the arms down. Okay. So working a little bit more just with the arms and just with the shoulders and getting the mobility in the top part of the back. We are going to bring in a little bit of play into the legs as well. So, but I'm going to get you to just lean yourselves back against the wall. So my feet are about 8 inches or so away from the wall. I'm going to just bend my knees. I'm leaning so the top part of my back isn't actually on the wall. I'm taking my arms forward, bending the elbows, and I'm going to take my right elbow over the left, bringing my hands together. So now I'm here with it, I'm just going to draw back through the belly, lift the chest, drawing the elbows down slightly. Now I'm going to take my left leg over the right. Now if you can hook your foot round onto the calf. If it doesn't go, don't worry about it. Mine don't want to go. So we're holding there. If you can bring yourself away from the wall. If you prefer to kind of keep your bum against the wall, keep it there. We're focusing more on the opening up across the top part of the back and the mobility of their hips rather than the balance. So see if we can lift those elbows up even more, lift the chest. Good, now draw the elbows back down, but keep the chest lifted. Good, and then release. So bring yourself away from the wall. Just roll the shoulders back and down. And then onto the other side. So feet are about 8 inches or so away from the wall. Just bending the knees, bringing your arms forward. So this time we're bending the arms, it's going to be the left elbow over the right, bringing the hands together. So once we're there with it, then we're going to take our right leg over the top and wrap round as much as we can. So we draw back through the belly, we lift the chest, we can lift the elbows, but then start to draw the elbows down a little bit as you're lifting the chest. Squeezing the legs together as much as we can. If you want to come away from the wall, come away from the wall and work on your balance. And then release. So just roll the shoulders back. Okay. So we're just going to bring ourselves back down again into a plank position. So let me just maybe show you first just where we're going to go with this. So we're going to have the hands down, making sure that we're pushing down again to the knuckles, taking the legs back, and we're just going to tilt over to one side. Now we're going to bring our right hand up, it's going to go onto the shoulder, and the elbow is going to come down, looking down towards the left elbow, and then we lift up with the left foot. So it'll start to work right into the obliques. So obliques being on here. So they'll really start to kind of tone and work into that. So let's go into it. Again, if you feel it's a little bit much, then keep both hands down on the floor and just working that way. So both hands down, stretch the legs back. So we're into our plank. Now, even from here, you can work on your pulling your heel of your hand in towards the toes and the toes in towards the heel of the hand. We're just going to tip over now just onto your left hand side. So right hand is going to come up onto that left elbow, left shoulder. We're going to bring the right elbow down towards the left elbow. And then we can start to lift up with that left foot. So we start to face the body down, but we're lifting up with our left foot. Woo. And then it goes down, hands going down, we turn back over, bring your knees down and sit back. Just have a little rest before we do the other side. If you need to, just rotate your wrists. So I'm going to turn this way around so you can see me again. Okay, so once we've taken a breather, then we'll go on. So we come up into a plank. We tip over. So we're going to bring our left hand up. It's going to hold onto that right shoulder. Then I'm going to bring that left elbow down towards the right elbow. And I'm lifting up with my right foot as I'm facing my chest down towards the floor. And placing that down, hand down, rock back over, knees down, and sit back. So I'd have the head down, take a rest, or you can rotate the wrists. Quite a warming pose. So good for working and toning up into the stomach muscles. Now if we bring ourselves down onto our bottom, and legs are slightly bent. So holding onto the backs of the legs and sit tall. Now placing the hands back behind you. Lift the chest. Straighten out with the right leg. Straighten out with the left. Bring the right hand in. Bring the left hand in. Draw back through the belly. Holding there. Holding. Keep the breathing nice and smooth. Hold. 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 And hold on to the backs of the legs and just release. Holding the legs in. Okay, so we're just going to come onto our backs just for a moment to work into a simple twist. So again, twists are really good for kind of releasing any muscular tension, but also as well for kind of, again, toning those stomach muscles. So arms can go out to the sides. Now, if you're back a little bit iffy, then keep the feet down onto the floor. Otherwise, we're bringing the knees up towards the ceiling, feet up off the floor. So we're going to start to go over. We're going over first of all to the left-hand side. So we inhale, and as we exhale, we're taking those knees over. Now they're not going to come right down to the floor. They're just going to hover just a little way off the floor if we can. Remember, you have the option of the feet down on the floor if you feel it's a bit much. So the reason for hovering is it's going to work a little bit more into those stomach muscles. And then we exhale as we come back. Inhale and exhale over to the right hand side. So again, hover just a little way off the floor if we can. Inhale and then exhale as we come back up. And placing the feet down. Okay, we can straighten out with the legs. Take the hands just underneath the bottom. Press down as you bring yourselves up to sitting. Okay, so if we come over now, just onto our knees, grab hold of your blocks if you need to. We're going to go into Ustrasana, so into camel pose. So if you know that your back is a little bit tighter, you need a little bit more warming up, then maybe you need to have some blocks there, or just take it just to the first stage. So on our first stage of this, when we come up, we're tucking the toes under, and the thumbs push into the sacrum. So if I turn that way, they're pushing in. Now as they push in, they'll edge your hips forward, and we lift the chest and we go back. So we're going to work it into that one first, and then we're going to work a slightly different version. So toes are tucked under and the knees are looking forward. So thumbs are pressing in, and we lift and we lift and we lift the chest, and we're just taking those shoulder blades together and the elbows back. So we can start to go back and go back and go back and go back. We can either hold onto our blocks that we have just back behind us and push down and lift the chest up, then release the head. When you are coming back up, push the hands back in and lift back up again to sit back down. Okay, if you're not needing the blocks there, then you may be able just to go straight down onto the heels. So we'll work into that one. So again, push the thumbs in, lift the chest, lifting, 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 roll the shoulders back and down. So start to come back, and then we place the hands down onto the heels. We can press down, lift the chest up even more, let the head go back. When we're coming up, press into the sacrum and we lift back up again. And we can just sit back, down to the heels. Take a moment there. Okay, now if that is enough for you, then you can just hold here for a moment or just rest with the head down. So I'm just going to show a slightly different way of going into it. So we can come up again just onto the knees and we can have the toes tucked. Now this time, if we kind of push the bottom back, so if we push the bottom back, kind of almost like a duck bottom, and then really lift the chest, so we're already working into a back bend in the top part of the back. We're bringing the hands back, and there's slightly more, it can feel a little bit awkward to begin with, but it gets the shoulders back. So the fingers are pushing in and the palms are pushing into the back. So elbows are back. So my bottom is back. Then I'm lifting the chest. Now I start to push in, push in, push in. It'll take me back. Then my hips come forward. I go back and then I can push down and push into the heels and edge the hips forward. And then again, we can push in and we can start to just collapse back in the hips to bring us forward. And then placing the hands down and sit back. So the second one already starts to initiate the back bend. So, and then what we need to do is to then bring the hips forward, as opposed to the other one where we're bringing the hips forward and stacking everything up and then going back. So seeing which works best for you. Okay, well done. And then if we come down, just to lying down. So have the legs a little stretch back. We can bend the knees, gives the thighs a little bit of a bounce, stretching the legs back. Again, top part of the body, we're going to press the hands down, lift, stretch forward. And then when we have those legs in, we're going to take the hands back. See if we can just get hold. Now, all we're going to do on this one in Bikasana, so frog pose, is just place the forehead down and we're going to bring those heels in towards the bottom. If they come down easily down to the bottom, you can slide them down either side. Lift the elbows up and back, so we're drawing back. So we take a good stretch out through the quads, those muscles on the front of the thigh. And then release. Placing the arms forward and slightly wider than the shoulders. So forehead is down. And on the attention just to be with the breathing. So this time we're going to see if we can lift this up into Dhanurasana, into bow pose. So we're going to still keep the head down and we can start to bend the legs. So toes are looking up towards the ceiling. We're going to bring the hands back. Now you don't want to be kind of going over from side to side. So just see if we're able just to grab hold. And if we can grab hold, we're going to grab hold across the ankles. So reason being is that we're going to then flex the feet. We take a big deep breath in, and as we breathe out, we push the feet back, end up lifting the thighs, we lift the chest. We're looking forward or looking slightly up. Keep pushing the feet back, it'll keep the space in the small of the back. And then slowly release and let the feet go. Turn the head to one side. Just give the hips a little bit of a shake out from side to side. Okay, so bring the hands in. So hands again level with the chest. Draw back through your belly. Push back up and carefully take the bottom back towards the heels. So nice stretch out. And then bring yourselves back up to sitting for a moment. Grab yourselves just a block if you can, just to sit on. The legs are out straight. And then holding onto the backs of the legs, just bringing those legs up. Hold onto them, sit tall. We're going to take a twist round, and we're going to twist first of all to the left-hand side. So we're going to take the right hand and just wrap it across the front of the legs. Take your left hand onto your shoulder, lifting up with that elbow, and take it right back and place the hand back behind you. So focusing on that twist happening through your belly, through the rib cage, through the chest, through the shoulders. Gentle twist back for the neck. And then bring it back round. So keeping hold, keep the lift. And then this time keeping hold. So left hand is holding across the legs. We're taking the right hand onto the right shoulder. We make a large circle with that elbow as it reaches back, and then we place the hand down onto the floor, pushing down, so encouraging a little bit more of a twist. Again, feel that across your belly, across the rib cage, across the chest, the shoulders. Easy twist round for the neck. And then we bring it back round. Okay. So we're just going to grab hold of 2 blocks. And if you have your 2 blocks and a blanket. So your 2 blocks are going to stagger. So they're like that, so when we place our bottom on this top one, it'll tip in slightly. So we can place that with a blanket over it as well. So better to lie yourself down first. Hold on to that lower block. And then we're drawing the legs in. And we're reaching those legs up. So we're still holding onto that lower block. If you can see my hands there. Now we can let the legs just relax a little bit. So staying up, stay lifted. So we're getting the benefits of that inverted posture without really doing the hard work. It's similar to just with the Viparita Karani with the legs up the wall. You can even just rotate the ankles if you want to, or just closing the eyes. We're just going to hold here just for 5 breaths. The legs now should feel quite light. And we can start to bend the knees. And placing the feet down onto the floor. Now we can just slide the blocks out. You can either have the legs straight, or you can take the blocks and place them underneath the legs. So a blanket, just wrap that over you. The arms, just have that little bit of space just from underneath the armpits, and then maybe just kind of bring the hands in, so the hands are just resting on the belly. So I'm going to just bring myself up. You're going to just leave yourself there for a moment. So just have a little wriggle out just to make sure that you feel nice and comfortable. Just with the eyes closed. And again, just bringing the awareness back onto how you feel. Onto the space you created inside. Also awareness on the quality of your breathing. Just soft, smooth, quiet breath. Okay, so without really disturbing the body too much. And by all means, if you want to just lie there, then that's fine. Just let the video run and just stay as you are. Otherwise, just keeping the body as calm and relaxed as you can. And just slowly start to make your way back up to sitting. Once you're at sitting, bringing the hands together. Again, just as if you had a butterfly in between your fingers. Bring thoughts back of your intention. And taking the hands up over the crown. Slowly start to draw the hands down past the Ajna chakra, our intuitive center. We shudder. The throat, we speak our truth and listen well. Anahata, heart center, the center for love and compassion. Manipura, giving us our will and our drive. Svadhisthana, for our ability to change when we need to. Mulandara, for our strength and our stability. Just bringing the hands back to the Anahata chakra. Just always remembering to hold a place for yourself in your own heart. Now you'll reap the benefits of your practice today. For the energy that you created in that practice, just bring to mind someone you feel could do with a little bit of help right now, and then dedicate that part of your practice to them. Namaste. If you like what I do, hit the subscribe button down at the side there and press the bell. It'll give you notifications of when I'm going live. Otherwise, check out on my website, www.SucramYoga, and you'll see what else I've got on there. Okay, thank you for joining me this evening, and stay well.